Happy Sunday, everybody. Hope you're doing really well. Thank you so much for coming in and hanging out with us. Today, we're going to be looking at some coins. Eric has very graciously agreed to pull his scope up. He's got a roll of pennies and a roll of nickels, Paula's favorite thing. And hey, folks, look in the upper right-hand corner. You'll see somebody. Look at that. Let's see. Look who's here. Hi, Paula.
Hi. Hi,
Good,
everybody.
good to see you.
Good to see you guys too.
So happy to, when I pulled up the thing this morning, I heard "badink," and I was like, "Oh, there's Eric." And I was like, "Oh, there's Eric." Paula.
Eric's been in and out trying to get my patio put back together, but we've literally had constant thunderstorms for 2 days now.
Yikes.
My poor grass is going to be 2 foot tall by the time the lawnmower touches it.
I love thunderstorms so much.
So it'll be almost as tall as me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
In case you guys don't know, I'm pretty short, but
make Mike's ear bleed yesterday. I love him. He talked. He was my sounding board yesterday.
Mike is good people.
He is good people. I know.
My mom said we have to be nice to people like that. So
I know. Good morning, Jack Riley. Good morning, Kinamine. Everybody, good morning. Luther. Good morning, Luther.
So Jack Young is also here with us today. What's going on, Jack? How are you, good sir?
Good morning. I'm doing great. This is 5 weeks in a row for me. I'm on a roll.
I know. He's rocking it. He's becoming a part of the regular panel. It's awesome.
How about that? I enjoy it. I'm here to learn today. Eric's going to really teach me some stuff this morning.
I don't know about that, but it's basically the same thing that you do for the counterfeits, just on not counterfeit coins.
Very good.
So Siren has already put the link in. If you're watching the vertical stream, she put the link in. If you want to see it in a more wide stance, the landscape mode is there. For those of you who are new to this, I stream both vertical and landscape. Whatever works best for you is the format you get to view it in. So if you want to, if you're on your phone and it's, you want to have that vertical view, then you can slide on over and check out the vertical side. And if you're on a TV or something, just go to that link. I'm going to go ahead and pin that, and then you can watch that on the side. Let's go ahead and pin that. That has been pinned. Siren, thank you so much for doing that. So let's go through and say hi to the folks in chat, and then that'll give time to Eric to pull his stuff up and get going. We have David Carlisle. I'm surprised he's here. Normally he's not around. Jack Riley, what's going on? Hey, I was going to blame you for something today. We were all talking before the stream, and I told him, I said, let's pick on him. And Jack Young was like, no, that was my fault, not his. I'm like, we're going to blame him anyway. HVAC, what's going on? Kinamine, Luther, good to see you. Mike Noodle, Scrap Metal Racing, how are you doing? Good to see you. Siren, as always, thank you so much for doing that. Steve looking for silver. What's going on, brother? Appreciate you coming in. Vote for Pedro. How you doing, brother? We have very, very soon, here in November, we have Wounded Warriors. We got some stuff coming up. He's doing some stuff preparing for that. Again, always a great event. Lots of great people putting some stuff together. So a huge shout out to Vote for Pedro. Ron AZ, formerly AZ Coins. What's going on? Good to see you, brother. My favorite, Nana, how you doing? Good to see you. Thank you so much for being here. Mr. Dan McCumber, thank you for being a channel member. Much appreciated. Thank you for all the support. Definitely appreciate you all being here. If you'll do me a favor, share this out. Make sure you're smashing that thumbs up. And Eric, let's pull up that screen and let's dig in.
Thank you, Pedro.
First thing we're going to do is a 92p. He had that on his little thumbnail. And we're going to look for a close AM. Not that we'll find it because they are exceedingly rare. So
fun to look for, though.
Yep, you got to look. You can't find it if you don't look for it.
Did you like that thumbnail, Eric?
I did.
I thought that would be a little bit fun to do. Hopefully draw some people in.
A little bit of how I look at a coin. We'll look at this desk coin that is just a coin I use to focus the scope and stuff like that. But a lot of people will sit there and just go and look around. Whereas when you're looking, even through a glass, turn the coin, you get more detail. So you can see the split lower serif and upper serif better. You see the north-south die scratches through the date when the light reflects on it differently, which would be a die marker. So if we were to look through a roll and see a bunch of those, we could just go like this, and we wouldn't really even have to look further unless you're looking for errors and stuff. But for die varieties, we would know that this is just a repeat die pair in the roll. Then another thing that I do is before I search coins, I get an idea of what has been found, what area of the coin. I still look at most of the coin.
Still on the rims. Shut up, Luther.
But I do like to get an idea of what there is. There's a few double die reverses and a couple of minor double die obverses for 92p. And that's through Copper Coins, Wexler listings, and Variety Vista. So we'll go ahead and open this roll.
Another thing real quick before you start digging into that, another thing that's really important when you're looking at coins, if you're looking at a roll like Eric's going to show us right now, which is all one item.
It isn't. This roll has a circulated coin.
Okay, so there's going to be multiples. If you have the chance and you have the capability, kind of sort them a little bit and then pull your resources up. Make sure you have your resources. I put in chat Copper Coins. That's the one I'm going to be utilizing today. But you also have Wexler. You also have Variety Vista. And depending upon what coin you're searching for, make sure you have those different elements up to make it more beneficial. The reason sorting is such a good idea when you're looking at doing coin searches is that you want your mind to see the same thing over and over and over again. Because when that happens, if there's something out of the ordinary, your eye will pick it up. Even if you don't recognize it right off the get-go, your mind will pick it up. And so it's a good idea to look through that. And
Can I add something to that too?
Please.
So yeah, if you don't want to keep all of the three major resources up, before you start on a date that you're going to be looking at, do a quick scan through all three, because
that's what I do.
There's a very good chance that there are listings on one that aren't on another.
That's right. So, and I just get an idea of what there is.
We all have our favorite that we use. Like my go-to is Variety Vista, just because it's easier for me. I find it easier to navigate. I love Chuck's website. I started out with Variety Vista, and so it's just easier for me to navigate. But Chuck's is probably a better resource. He probably has more complete listings. But yeah, but do a quick scan of all three and make sure that you're looking for all of the listings.
What's on the back of his collar, Eric?
I don't know. I was just looking at that.
It is, Luther. It really is. It's just easier. Variety Vista is just that. It's just easier for me to navigate.
Die Clash, maybe?
No.
What was it?
It's like
I didn't see it.
It's a blemish on the die. We'll have to see if we find more. I was looking at the forehead too. And that could be a blister, but it seems
that's that little vein.
Yeah.
I think that's a normal element on the design.
In right here?
Yes.
Yep. Oh. We'll have to see. I've never noticed it coming out that far before.
Lincoln has a migraine.
Yeah.
I could be wrong, but I think it's a normal element on the design.
We got some plating
split
issues here. Mm-hmm. The good double die that we're looking for is on the FG. And it's really nice. And then the others are in bay 8 and 9. So we'd start here. This is bay 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then it would be right here, and it's basically doubled columns. There is a real impressive one in 93, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
On the end of the
but
base.
this one is there's two of them on 92, and they're kind of unimpressive.
Yeah.
Some dye deterioration.
So
Actually,
Kim asks a question. Good morning, Kim. Why is one considered an error and the other damaged? It all depends upon.
That's a same. Oh no.
All right, see, this is what I'm talking about right here, Frosty. That is something on the die.
That's a little struck through.
Nope, that was on the first coin also.
Oh, that's a different coin?
Yeah. This is the same on the mark.
See, that's the vein. That's the little vein.
So I'm thinking, and so we'll look.
What's the item on the other side? So real quick, Kim, again, why is one considered an error and the other damage? You have to look at how it occurred. So if you're looking at it happening during the minting process, now when you're talking about the minting process, you're talking about PD&S, right? Not Philadelphia, Denver, San Francisco, but planchet, die, and strike. So when you're looking at different errors, different varieties, you have to determine, did it happen after the minting process? If it happened after the minting process, it's considered post-mint damage. If you're looking at something that happened because of the planchet, and there's something wrong with the planchet, then you're looking at a planchet error. If you're looking at something that happened because of the strike, whether it be off center, whether it be a rotated die or something like that, then you're looking at something that is related to the strike. If you're looking at something that is here, maybe there's a die lamination, or not a die lamination, a die crack, or give me a strike through or something like that. That would be related to,
right there.
Those would be related to the die, right? So
no,
not struck through.
Cracks.
The die gouge that was in the back of the neck.
Over on the die.
Yeah.
So that's on the die.
You have to actually know where the item happened. And this is why it's so important, Kim, to understand the minting process. Because once you understand the minting process, then you can break it down and say, where in the process did this occur? And then it'll help you determine whether is it a variety or an error, or whether it's just damage. So good question. Mike says, can I make an important clarification? Absolutely. You don't have to ask in chat. Just put it in, Mike.
Here you go. There. See, there's another one.
Anything that happens to the coin after it is the final downstroke of the die when it is finished being minted is damage.
That is on the die right there.
Yeah, that's some kind of. I'd love to get a little closer in on that.
You want? I'll turn it over. But I would normally not
because
even
that could be a little die lamination. It's not something you see a lot of, but dies, you do get laminations on the dies. Now that's a little bit of damage to the die.
And it's on multiple coins, so it's got to be on
3 of the 4 coins we've looked at. Mm-hmm. So like normally I would already see that and I would not go any further if I was searching these for myself.
Paul and Nana wanted to ask you a question.
Unless I was looking for errors. I'm not a big error collector, even though I have actually started looking for
a little vein on his head.
I do, but I've never noticed that.
Yeah.
On any. I'm tempted to go get a roll of 91 and 93 to see if they're on those.
Just a little extra they put on the design.
This is a year that I can probably tell you that I've searched maybe 5 rolls in the last 30 years.
It's like on I think it's 1999s when they started like enhancing his chin or something. He's got that weird looking chin.
Yeah. Now, like this doubling right here, this is actually normal. That's
the doorway.
That's the doorway. That's right.
That's the doorway in the building.
So this brings another very important point. When you're looking at coins, folks, understand the design elements, know what you're looking at, right? So if you don't know what's normal on the coin, you're going to find a lot of stuff. That's nothing.
So Nana, I believe that the large S was used on more than one die. So there wouldn't be one particular die marker for that. The large S is your best die marker.
Here's another thing we're looking at here. I forgot to even go into this.
There are two different mint mark styles, Nana. So there are two different mint mark styles. I think that one is a sans serif and one is I would have to look.
I'm going to pull up a link for her real quick.
Yeah,
so that she can look at the mint mark.
28S has a large S and a small S.
Right. Yeah. Right. And they are pretty distinctive.
What's she talking about? Mercury dimes.
Yeah.
I think it's the same.
It's the same.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But we're also looking for close AM. That's actually the coin we're looking for because it's the one that's worth a lot of money. And basically, these would be touching.
Mm-hmm.
The FG would look different. Also,
straight.
Where ATES of states, that's another pickup point.
Yes, the A is centered.
Yep.
On a wide AM. It is closer to the second T of states on a close AM. Thanks, Kim.
So Nana, here in chat is
little grease.
Here in chat is a URL for you to click on. This is the Mercury Dime Large S, and what you can do with that is you can look at the two mint mark styles. Actually, there's more than that, but you'll have to look at your particular year, and you'll see the difference in the mint mark styles. You'll see the more rounding of one, and then you'll see the one that has the more blocky square serif, and that should help you understand the difference between those. And like Paula stated, the mint mark is your best. In many cases, looking at coins, your mint mark is your best identification. So,
and a good example of that is the 40s class 6 doubled dies. I am sure that there are a bunch of mid 40s class 6 doubled dies that are actually the same die pair, but they don't share any markers. So you can't legitimately like do an overlay or anything because they're the same anyways. Where the mint mark, you can find one that's totally different and you can do an overlay within Photoshop and they're the same because that mint mark floats all over the place. They try to get it close, but it's never the same between different die pairs.
We just saw an example of that, Luther, huh? On that 46S that guy thought was inverted. His mint mark position was very, very close to the inverted mint mark position. But if you do a side by side or an overlay, you could tell that it was. And sometimes it's difficult especially when they're heavily circulated or even slightly circulated.
Oh yeah.
Or if there's any damage to the mint mark, if it, flattens the mint mark out, it will change the appearance of the position.
That's a really interesting question, Luther. Why is the wide AM and close AM not considered a mule?
Well, because the two dies weren't, they were dies that were still intended to, the designs were still intended to be paired.
One was just a proof die.
They were just a design change. They were a transition.
Well, wasn't it proof?
Well, so some were transitional errors and some were proof style reverse. So on the 92s, those are transitional designs. Those are from 92 to 93. The 98, 99, and 2000 are proof style reverses. So those are design varieties.
One question I always get, this roll, everybody's going to say, what do you do with these coins after you're done with them? I spend them. unless I find one that's super duper nice or something that makes me want to keep it. Most of these will just go back to the bank. Or they go, like if they're copper, they go into a copper bag.
I will say something. If you are new to this and you're just starting searching, don't immediately take them back to the bank. Hold on to them for a while.
Especially if you're buying rolls. You know, I'm talking about a 92 or a 96 or a 2005, 2010, even 2025. I just look at them and they're change.
Well,
unless I find something super nice. But
if you're brand new and you don't know what you're looking for, give yourself some time to learn
and look at them.
Go back and look at them. I have, Paul, I don't know if you remember this. You remember when it was you and Amanda were on the stream and I was sorting through that big bag of wheat cents that I got? And I was sorting some stuff and we were going through stuff and I'd found a couple items, nothing major. And we were going back through them, and Amanda stopped me and said, "You see that little blip over the S? That's a mint mark. That's a mint mark variety. An S over S, north." And I was like, "Really?" And she's like, "Yeah." So we went back through, and I had found a whole bunch of stuff, but it was on the second cycle of looking at the same coins that I was actually able to identify something else was there. If I wouldn't have had Amanda there, I probably would have not seen that one. So don't immediately get rid of them. Hold on to them for a little bit. Look at them a few times. There are people that like, and I don't remember if it's you or Chuck, Eric, but I remember you talking about a story where you guys were looking through some stuff and one of your friends looked at it and found a whole bunch of stuff on really worn coins.
No, it was me. I had bought, when I got into this, the reason I got into it is my son wanted a Whitman album and fill it all up. So I went out and bought a bunch. And then, you know, he was like, and I was already into it. I was like, oh, well, I'm going to get it started out. I'm going to get uncirculated everything for myself. And then, of course, the memorials, I really got into them. And I'm like, well, I'm going to get a BU roll of everything. Then it turned into, I'm going to get a mint sewn bag of everything. And one of the dealers I was buying from, he says, "What are you doing with all these coins?" I says, "Well, I'm just trying to get a full set of this and that." He says, "You're not looking for die varieties or anything?" And he introduced me to die varieties. And one of the first die varieties I found was a 1961D RPM number 1, which is the horizontal D over the regular D.
Nice.
And I didn't just find one. I literally found 700 of them. And I can remember Chuck telling a story. There was some guy on eBay selling them for $10 a piece for about a year and a half. And I literally sold all 700 of them on eBay for $10 a piece.
Beauty.
And he says, it brought the price down. And I said, well, you know, they're not an uncommon coin. And that goes back to some of these are uncommon. Some of them are not. They're cool. And when they're cool, everybody wants one. So the basic collector would keep a 61D RPM number 1 or a 1960D RPM number 1. But getting back to the point he made, I had bought a bunch of rolls. Bought a bunch of rolls, and I looked through them and I pulled some RPMs out of them. And then I moved down here, and I literally, it was when COVID hit. I was sorting through stuff, trying to make an inventory list, which was unsuccessful, by the way. And I found this box, and it was dated 1998. So I opened it up, and I start looking through it, and I found all sorts of stuff that I missed. I mean, literally hundreds of coins that had die varieties on them. And a lot of people, and that's where that advice came from. A lot of people, when they get into it, they buy these rolls, they look through them, and then they sell them. And everybody goes, don't you hate buying rolls that are searched? Nope, because you don't know how good the person is searching them, and you don't know what they're looking for.
That's fact.
They could be looking for high grades, and what they think is high grade may not be high grade. They could be looking for just error coins, you know, clipped planchets and stuff like that. hatchets and stuff
So-
like that. Just because a roll is searched doesn't mean that it's searched for what you're searching for.
Well, and I challenge anyone to find
Everything.
a coin roll, someone who searches coin rolls that doesn't say they wish they had all of the coins that they searched in the beginning to go back through to look back.
Oh, absolutely. That was the best part of this, is those were the coins that I searched in the beginning.
Most people, when they start out, the first boxes they get from the bank, they're looking for Canadians and wheat cents and stuff like that. And then
Uh-huh.
they'll transition to starting to look for errors and varieties, but they don't do the homework before. They don't buy the book before the coin.
Right. I always say that about Kennedy's. Everybody's looking for silver, and there's so much more to find.
You would
That's
do
worth
yourself
more than silver.
a huge favor if you would do some research and some study before you start looking through coins. You really would. And like Frostbite said earlier, if you do start going through them, if you've come across something that almost looks like it's in a different spot.
It's the same, but it looks like it has progressed a little bit.
It does. So which makes me wonder if it wasn't something stuck to the die.
It's possible, but it's definitely on the die.
Yeah. Because it's also a little bit like incuse on the coin.
And
so
there
it
was
makes you
some,
think
if
that
I
it-
find one,
something stuck on the die.
it looks
Anyway.
like they took a brush or something.
If you're going through something, if you're going through coins and you see something that looks weird to you, like Frostbite said earlier, set it aside and label like a tube or something, for you to come back and look at it again later. And just put it away. In a year, pull it back out and look at it, look through it. When can I stop keeping? Yesterday, David Carlisle.
What was that?
You know how many they made of those? A ton.
Well, and that goes
Buy
in.
yourself a couple 2017 mint sets and call it good.
That's something that a lot of people don't understand. When you have a run of something and you have 20 million people all collecting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rolls of that, you have a lion's share of really nice coins in reserve.
You're definitely right. There's something moved, but it almost looks like they brushed it with something here too. See the straight lines.
That could just be.
Yeah, it could still be part of the damage, but this is a little more
coming off of it.
Different than the last one. The last one was just kind of the round spot.
Mm-hmm.
And some of these had these scratches. But yeah, some of it is incuse and some of it is in relief. So you're probably right. Whatever it is built up to make the incuse.
Mm-hmm.
And then but it could be just the stuff from the hole that's right here also. It's hard to say.
Real quick, folks, if at any time we say something that you're like, what the hell is incuse, or what the hell are they referencing, put it in chat. We'll answer any question. And there is no stupid question. What's stupid is to have a question and not answer it, because we're talking about things that you're trying to understand. And if you can't understand and you don't ask, then we can't properly teach you. So,
right. So this is a new die pair. You can tell by these scratches.
So, Mike, typically rust on a die. So the first couple strikes of that die will have like little incuse blebs on it. And then the die almost immediately, the rust almost immediately falls off of the die. It does not last, but it will leave a pit on the die. And that's
nice
where
little die crack.
Yeah, that was kind of a nice one.
That's
the typical area of the
most
era.
Die cracks come off. Most die cracks are not freestanding, so it's very rare to find a freestanding die crack just in the field or like on like his forehead where you saw that. Most die cracks are attached to a design element because that's the weaker part of the dies. But Yeah, those recurring die subsidence, Luther, on those, I think it's 1973 cents, are really cool. I think that
Luther, it's not that we think you're crazy. We know you're crazy, brother. Larry says, what causes those straight lines across the whole coin? They're all parallel and look like it's made.
A lot of those are just linear plating lines. They're just when they plate it.
planchet striations
Yep.
too, yeah.
And some of that is also metal flow, right?
Because some of it can be scratches. Like the last one I showed, it had definitely been hit with a wire wheel or a wire brush.
He's talking about those parallel ones. Those are probably
right. Those, I believe, are like waves in the plating.
Planchet striations too.
Yeah. Like that. That actually is in the plating. That's actually die flow, isn't it?
Web
Identity just subscribed. Thank you so much.
So when you see, when you come across a good example of those that are linear and parallel,
yep.
Stop and we'll talk about those.
I will.
A lot of times you see those on coins that, so if you have an unplated Lincoln cent, one of the diagnostics for a genuine unplated Lincoln cent is the planchet. So right there, you'll see those planchet striations. That you see them stronger on coins that are thinner. The plating is a little bit thinner in those areas. So that's where you will see them pretty strong.
There you go. There's a good example.
Yeah.
Right
so if you removed the plating, well, you wouldn't see it if it removed it. But if it was unplated, those striations would still be on the planchet. And that's one of the diagnostics for a genuine. He called them plating surface irrigation. Oh, Pete Apple did. Yeah, it's so one of the main diagnostics for a genuine non-plated Lincoln cent are those plating striations or the planchet striations. So those linear lines would be there on the planchet before they're plated. Now, if the plating is thinner in that area, you will see them stronger. That's why sometimes you see them.
There's some right there.
Does that make any sense?
And then you go like this.
I feel like I'm
another thing about turning the coin.
No, it makes sense.
Now you can get linear plating blisters.
That's right.
Yeah, I think
by 92 they started kind of getting that under control.
Mm-hmm.
But you look in the early 82 especially, I can remember even the grading companies didn't hold blisters. Now they do. You put a blistered coin to the grading company and it gets body bagged right away.
That's a perfect example right there of the planchet striations.
Yeah.
So that coin is probably, the plating on that coin is probably a little bit thinner. It may even weigh a little bit less.
I don't even have my scale in here. It's on my shipping table.
What's up, farmer?
Yeah, this has it. And the reason they go different directions, so people know, is that when they strike the coin, they don't know what direction the planchet's going to go into the chamber.
Right.
So it goes in. See, this one, it's got it going northeast, southwest.
What the A means, I bought a 60D RPM 12A 1941 number 4A. I don't have,
he's talking about die stages, I believe.
Could be. Yeah, that would be the thing that makes the most sense, but
I am not monitoring questions, so I'm depending on you guys to.
Oh, we're tracking it. No worries.
We are almost done with this roll.
Sometimes
we can get into the exciting nickel roll. If I can get them out of the tube. It's a Megrid tube, but they were shaking in the tube, so I'm assuming they're going to come out. Nothing to see. Not that I expected there to be anything.
Does look like a tag sticking out of his jacket.
We did have some struck throughs. Besides that, that is it.
Pretty typical.
Yeah, for 92. And that's why you always see people going for certain dates when they're buying rolls to search. Because some dates, they're not created equal. People just don't search a lot of 92 P Lincoln cents because there's a ton minted and there's not a ton of die varieties and errors for the year.
They are totally different, Luther. You're correct.
They did a pretty good job at the mint in 92.
Can we dance? Azure Blue, I will dance with you anytime. Mm-hmm. And I'd just like to congratulate Mike Noodle on his excellent bowling scores yesterday.
Uh-oh.
How did he do?
I don't know how the team ended up coming out in the end, but that's what she said. But I'm sorry, that was inappropriate. But he did very well. He's quite the bowler.
Actually, pretty good struck through.
It's getting cheesy.
What's up, Red? How you doing?
It is getting cheesy.
And we'll put that one aside. We'll give that one away at the end of the roll if anybody wants it.
Don't forget the letter N as a pickup point. I know why. I know. So a lot of people use that, Luther.
What was the question?
The N in 1. On the close and wide AMs, there's a straight and a flared N.
And a lot of people use the FG.
And also the little ripply things next to the FG on the building. Those are also different on the close and the wide. But I don't use those just because any amount of die wear and stuff, it's just so hard. It's hard enough to get people to look at the FG, Luther. That is a more advanced die marker for sure. For you guys that don't know, when we say die marker, it's pretty much we're talking about the fingerprint of the die. Every die has a fingerprint.
Yeah, something that when you see it, you're like, oh, that's the same die, or that is definitely confirms that it is this die.
The difference between the die fingerprint and a fingerprint on your finger is that a die fingerprint can change, the die markers can change a little bit on a
and
as opposed to your fingerprint, unless you burn your fingertip off.
And another good thing is make sure you find the variety before you find the markers.
Yes,
because sometimes you can have a change in the die pairing and it will have a die marker, but the item that's on the other side of the coin, because the dies were changed, no longer exists.
Die markers change too.
That was something me and Brian Allen was toying with for a while. And we've actually found, let's say, 3 in the 40s that confirm that the reverse was used on 2 different die varieties from the same date.
Good luck getting Brian Allen to do anything right now. He's got a little hottie on his arm.
Oh, he does. He looks at coins all the time. She's actually interested in coins.
I know he's still interested in coins. I'm talking about like getting him to write a book or anything.
He's actually working on a book.
With doing another strike at Rich too.
He is working on a book, a guide on barber RPMs.
Oh, very cool. He needs to do another strike at Rich.
Another strike through. He does work on that. I mean, like when he finds, because he's the only person I know that literally checks every coin that comes through his pocket. All right, that's
do
the same
that.
die that had the die crack before, because there's the little die scratches.
Set that one aside for me, Eric.
I could never write a book. So I get approached all the time about writing articles and stuff like that. I am not a good writer. I am just not. And I absolutely refuse to use AI. So I leave that up to other people to do. I'm just not, I've never been good at writing. I've written a couple things and I just think that they're goofy. So, yeah,
I need to
Man,
write
you guys
more.
could
I
tell.
just
you
don't
are,
do it
Jack.
enough.
I have picked up the pace. We're finding repeating die pairs and nothing of great interest. So,
but they're good. There's been some good teaching tools. Like
absolutely.
we could talk about the die deterioration ring that we've been seeing.
And also, you can't find these.
Plating split.
Yeah, you can't find these unless you look for them. So you actually have to look at the dates that you don't like to look at occasionally.
So that plating split, that's something that people find a lot and they think it's actually double dies, and it's not.
You are correct.
So if you guys have questions about that, we could talk about that. There's always teaching opportunities and learning opportunities.
There you go, Paula. A die crack in the middle of the die.
Well, it's still attached to a device.
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
It's really super rare to find a freestanding die crack. Usually it happens because of something that has happened, like some damage that's happened to the die itself.
Kin of mine, I know a number of people who check every single coin they get back and change.
Yep. I have a loop in my car. I have a loop in my purse.
I will someday. I do check most of the coins that come out of my pocket because it's easy to check a handful of change.
Jack's got jokes.
Unusual die crack. Yep. Unusual die cracks for sure.
Jack's got jokes, by the way.
I know he does. Mike told me a goofy joke yesterday.
He says I've written a little. What kind of joke did Mike tell you?
So I'll tell it, and I'll probably screw it all up. But it wasn't even like. So he said, if two vegetarians get in a fight, do they have beef?
Right? Is it a beef? Is it called a beef?
Yeah. Whatever. I'm like, okay.
And this was the circulated coin that was within the roll. There are a few double dies for 86. And this is an actual coin that didn't have a lot of coins minted that year for some reason. These rolls tend to be around $15, $20. One point they were 25, 30. All right, that's that. Let me throw these into the bucket.
Hey, Jack, I got a question for you.
Sure.
Do you know how undertakers prefer their coins?
Oh, this is going to be bad. No, I don't.
In slabs.
Nice.
I was reading your chat, Jack. I forgot you were even up on the panel.
Yeah, I'm just sitting back, watching and listening and learning, Paula.
That's terrible. I'm sitting there reading your chat. I'm like, yeah, you have written a little. Yes, you have, Jack.
All right, come on. Oh, yay.
Hey, what's going on, Sean? How you doing, man? What's new in your world?
What? Who? Oh,
other side, yeah.
Right.
These rolls rarely. That's why it's coming out. It looks like the tube is cracked.
I like that joke, Ink Man. That's nice. Want to hear a joke about paper? Never mind, it's terrible.
Terrible. Oh, I like that one.
So I actually have at work, and I used to do this. I need to do this. I don't work in the office as much as I used to.
Oh, man.
But I used to create puns, and I would put them on a piece of paper, and I would cut between the puns. And I called it My Terrible Puns.
Little struck through starting on this one.
What?
It says there's a little struck through, or not a struck through, a die clash right there by the back of the hair.
Oh, where's dirty water?
DW, what's going on?
No, we said die clash. She'll show up shortly.
Oh, that's right.
Now turn it over and see if there's any on the reverse, any die clash on the reverse. Up at the right, look on the right side of Monticello. No, the other side.
I'm making my way.
Which would be the left side, I guess.
This is one that's not listed, but I am sure that this is an RPM, and I can tell you by this right here that it would be too minor. It's got the little loop up on the top right there. See my little hand?
TMTL.
And people go, well, you can see it with this. There is no way you could see that under 10 or 14 times magnification. I'm magnifying something 40 times probably. No clash back here, but a lot of polishing. Actually, there's a little bit of a clash right there, isn't there?
The clashes on those are really cool on the tops of the building there because they look like flames sometimes. If you get a good die clash on those, I don't know, what do they call that design?
Monticello?
No, before they changed the obverse. Is it just classic? Is there a name for it before they changed the obverse of the?
I think it's just a Monticello.
Hey,
Well,
Paul is here. Good morning.
They all have the Monticello, though. I know die clashes are one of my favorites too, Nan. I do like them.
I like, we have come across some really good die clashes over the last couple of years. And that is why I have actually started to keep stuff like that. I used to just chuck it in the bucket.
Chuck it in the bucket.
Yeah, that was like toners. For years, I would get tone coins and I would chuck them in the bucket and then I would make a mixed roll. And I was always like, why are these people spending all this money to get this roll? And it turns out they were collecting toners. I had no clue.
Adam used to do Toner Tuesdays.
Yeah, that would be back in the late 90s, early 2000s. And it always perplexed me on what people's, and that was the day that everybody wanted blast white silver. So they didn't even buy the toned silver.
Solid date or mix or 1982 cents solid date or mixed date rolls.
I just said that they can come in both. It just depends.
Yeah, if you
usually
get
they're solid
original rolls, then there should be one date.
No, I think he's talking large date, small date, copper.
Well, even those, if you get original rolls, they should be one or the other. They could be mixed.
They could be mixed if it was a day that they transitioned.
Right.
That's like the 60 D cents.
Mm-hmm.
You can get large date and small date in the same roll. 60 P cents, you cannot. If you get a roll that is large and small, it's been put together because there was almost 3 months in between the manufacturing of large and small dates at the Philadelphia Mint. All right, here's a good piece of information right here. We talk about die state and why the cost of making nickels is so high.
Mm-hmm.
This is probably, I'm going to guess, 150,000 coins in the die is late die state.
The really late die state, yeah.
And nickels tear up the dies. And that's what always gets me. Of course, you don't hear much about them quitting making the cents. If they quit making the cents, they're going to have to make nickels, which I believe right now, the last thing I heard, 13.6 cents a piece for a nickel.
Yep.
So we're just going to spend more money making nickels. Same die pair, you can tell die deterioration on the star all through it. It's late die state.
It's got that orange peel.
Yep. So you get a lot of people that say, well, isn't this doubling? Nope. It's a scratch from them trying to get slag out. And this is probably where the die is starting to chip away, looks like. I have to see if I see that on the next one. See, but if I was looking for myself for personal reasons, I wouldn't even have went any further on this coin. I would have just put it in the pile.
Sending in a dime for you. EC's dime
Struck
time.
through right there.
That's the win. Huge jar of silver dimes. I saw my name. I got my name in there once because Frostbite sent a dime in for me. Thank you, Frostbite.
Yep, you should have your name in there a couple times.
Oh, I do. It only takes one, right? No, there's people that have like hundreds of entries.
Yep, but it does only take one, and we've seen people have
It
one.
only takes one.
Only having one item in. So I'm going to be giving away more. It's free to participate. All you got to do is chat. And if you chat, then I'll be randomly pulling names. And I've got about 10 dimes here, so I'll be giving more away. So again, just make sure you're chatting, talking, asking questions and stuff like that. And I'll periodically pull the winner and we'll draw some names. If you're not subscribed, consider subscribing. Check out the channel. If you have questions, please make sure that you pop in. Ron Pierce, what's going on? How you doing? And if you guys, go ahead.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
If you guys enjoy this kind of content, make sure you're letting me know, and we'll bring Eric up to do more of these in the future. Go ahead, Paula.
I always got lots of questions. You can ask your questions here.
Yeah, that's right.
I don't think he has a Discord, but I forgot what I was going to say. It must have been a lie. Oh, hey. So I did hear the interim mint director talking to Gray Sheet about talking to Jeff Garrett and them about the Lincoln Cent. And she kind of put a teaser out there. I figured because they said they ordered their last batch of planchets, when these are done, it's done, right?
Well, they never said that. They just said they ordered their last batch. To me, that means that contractually obligation is over. So if they buy more, they're going to have to pay whatever to get whatever the company wants.
It means they bought their last batch of planchet.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not trying to read into stuff, but
right. You know,
I know
government works. Everything's contractual.
Right. Yeah. And they've changed contracts a couple times with their suppliers, but she did say that she said for you Lincoln Cent collectors, I think you will be pleasantly surprised with what we have in store for the Lincoln Cent. So I think that they are probably going to be continuing it in some way or another for proof and mint sets or for collectors, not for circulation, but for things to purchase, of course, because they need to make money on it. But there is something interesting that Canada did. Canada made cents in different compositions.
It would not. Well, even the U.S.
for their sets
has done that.
Huh?
They've made copper cents after they got rid of the copper cents in 2009. The mint sets were struck on copper cents, on copper planchets.
So now I would dig that if they brought back copper cents. I'm hoping if they do a different composition that it will be copper. Because Canada did like a aluminum or something weird. With some of their collector sets.
Well, and even like England, Jamaica, they got rid of a lot of their coinage, but yet they still manufactured. I mean, you can get Great British half cents in annual coin cents. I can't tell you. For a long time, I think 67 was the last year that they were used in circulation.
So it is going to be interesting to see. Now, if you notice on the website, they have kind of halted production on the Lincoln Cent. They
did
made any
1.3 billion.
Huh?
It was 1.3 billion.
Yeah, 1.3 billion. The last month, 2 months, they've halted production. They didn't produce any. So that makes me, again, it's just guessing that they are holding back planchets they have in stock for next year.
Right,
Because
and we
I
don't know how
cannot
many.
see them not producing cents for the semi-quincentennial for circulation.
We don't know what their terms were. They could have had a contract where they had to buy 5 billion of these planchets.
Right.
So they could have 25 billion planchets sitting in a warehouse somewhere.
But even though they have planchets, does not mean that they're going to continue to produce
That is
them,
correct
because
too.
they still have to make dies, and they still have to use equipment, and it still
That's right.
costs them money to produce them. Not all of the cost of production is in the planchet. So I think
probably that's one of the lighter costs.
It probably is.
Metal Matt, Metal Matt, I don't know if you know this, but 333 is my favorite number, by the way. Thank you so much for the super chat. Much appreciated, brother.
Awesome. They won't make or buy any new planchets. So I think that I think that they are going to. She made it pretty clear in her statement that they are going to continue minting cents, not for circulation, but for collectors.
Have you seen any news on the congressional stuff, Frosty?
I haven't seen any, and
I've been tracking a little bit. There has been some progress made. I'm going to talk about that a little bit later on, not on this stream, but I'm waiting to get more. Some information came back from the committee that was appointed to actually look into the feasibility of this, to do the public opinion polls and all the other stuff. They convened, and they haven't posted any information on the status of that meeting. So if you track, there are 6 different actions that are happening right now related to the Lincoln Cent. There's the common sense. And then from the common sense, there's actually 2 other pieces of legislation to actually look at. One, monetary standpoint. What happens if we do this? Is it going to cause issues? Number 2, public sentiment. What's the public sentiment of this? Do we need to do this? Are we looking for, the removal of this? What's going to happen? Those 2 groups, again, in that Senate committee, have already met. I don't know if they've pressed the motion forward or not. I'm just waiting to see if there's any more information. And then once that's done, I'll do a short and give you guys the status of kind of where they're at. But they still haven't come out with the meeting minutes of that particular congressional session on what they're actually going to be doing moving forward. As it stands right now, and again, this is from what I understand. That's the best way that I can say this, because take it as it is. I'm not in Congress. I don't have any role in the Federal Reserve. I have no role in the Mint. But the acting secretary of say again?
Treasury.
Yeah. Basically said, cease and desist, the process of this. There's a public statement that was made. I am still intending to end the Cent. That was done, I think it was the 21st, the 11th or the 21st of August. It's been pretty recent. And it's still our intent to do this. He is very, very adamant about that. But the legality of it still has not been met. And so he has the right, as the acting secretary, he has the right to say, we're not going to be minting any of these. If he thinks that there's enough in circulation, there is no requirement for him to mint them. And so he's well within his rights to do that. And he could do that for 5 more years.
Yep.
Doesn't mean that they're totally going to get rid of the Cent. And, again, looking at some of the discussions, we are minting proof sets or mint
Structure.
sets or special
Mhm.
runs or whatever it might be.
Yeah.
So until there's that legal requirement, until there's that actual legislation that says that the penny and the nickel, and they're usually tied at the hip when they talk about these coins being printed or minted in perpetuity. Once that has been removed, that they're no longer entering that, then it becomes law, and then we'll see the cent go away. But until that point, it's really up to the secretary to make that determination. They
I don't
have
think
the right
we're
to do
ever
that.
going to see them go away. Even in Canada, they're still around.
That's
So,
right. And there's still legal tender there. They
yeah,
can spend
and I
them.
also don't think that they're going to make them out of anything like tin or aluminum, because they would have to change all of the counting machines and everything like that. It would, I mean, it would, because people will still spend them, even though they're only, say they only make them for proof and mint sets. We know how that goes, right?
Right.
Junior gets a hold of Grandpa's collection and bye-bye, right? They still get
Yep.
spent.
Hello, Snickers bar.
It's
Vote
going to
for-
be, and it's going to be up to each business whether they take them or not anymore. I think
Vote-
they're going to, you know, they're going to do like what Canada has done and make it up to the individual.
Well, the banks are supposed to turn them in, but most
Yeah.
banks don't. Most banks have collectors they call and get rid of
Yeah.
them.
Well, a lot of people don't realize the Treasury is constantly
Yes,
pulling
it will
coins
only-
out of circulation. They're constantly pulling bills out of circulation. There is a rotation cycle, and that rotation cycle does pull out. I have to laugh at Vote for Pedro. He tells me I'm slacking. I need to start running for Congress, and he'll change his handle to Vote for Frostbite. The reason that I track it that closely, Pedro, is because there's tons of misinformation and disinformation about this. And I really want people to understand, just because POTUS said, and POTUS is President of the United States, just in case you remember, if you don't know that.
Mhm.
Just because POTUS said we're ending it does not mean it's ending. Period, end of story. He cannot, under any legal requirement, say, I'm ending any coin. That has to be passed through legislation. It has to be ratified by that vote. It has to go through the congressional steps. There are a bunch of legal processes in which our money, our monetary system is based. He can't just say, I'm changing it. This is not that kind of, again, it's a republic. It's not a democracy. And so he doesn't have the authority to do that. What is very important is that a lot of people get this wrong. And, you know, for a while, Paula and I joked about this, saying, you know, hey, we need to quit talking about this because people are probably tired of hearing about it. But despite all the times that we've talked about this, people still get it wrong.
Right.
And I am
Well,
very,
I mean, maybe I'm wrong. I don't know.
I'm very,
I just go by what I hear.
yeah,
Frostbite and I, and you know, most of us, we pay pretty close attention to the source. We try to get what we share
It's
directly
funny, Pedro.
from the source. So when we listen to stuff that's coming from what the mint director is saying, or from, you know, people in the know,
Yeah.
or Frostbite looks at a lot of legislation. He researches a lot of that stuff. So even though there's some guessing that goes on, it's educated guessing.
Yeah. And again, folks, if I find out that anything, and I say this as often as I have to, because it's very important to me, integrity first matters to me, really does. Okay. If I say something and I find out I'm way off base, I will issue a statement, correct it. If I did it in a video, I'll just delete the damn video. If I have to redo the video, I'll do that. Because I don't want to be the purveyor of bad information. But just because I tell you guys we've looked at this doesn't mean that I have to be your sole source of information. I am often asking you guys, go look at other people, do your own research, make up your own mind. All I can do for you, this is the only thing I can really offer the hobby.
go
I
to the
can
store.
surround you with people like Paula and Eric and Jack Riley and Mike and people who really want to grow you as hobbyists. I can connect people in the chat to other people who have same design elements and ideas about, I like peace dollars, I don't like Morgans. We can connect those people. I like Morgans, I don't like peace people. We connect those people. But what's important here is that whatever information you get from our channels, and I'm not saying mine, Livecoin Q&A, Copper Coins, Jack's, deep counterfeit. I like the dark side of numismatics. They do amazing things. All of those channels are about providing you the best possible information without telling you what you need to do. They just give you the information, and it's up to you to make the assessment.
Yep.
And so that's what we're here for, right? And Fun with Fakes is a lot of fun.
Fun with Fakes.
It is.
That's right.
I look forward to it every Wednesday around 11 o'clock. That gives Jack enough time to publish what he's found while he's sitting at his computer Tuesday night.
and I'll give you my opinion. Like this laser privy. There's a lot of misinformation about this coin, and I want people, or this coin, yeah, it's a coin.
And that misinformation came directly from the source. They are not being honest.
They're not being honest. And this is where disinformation, it's not misinformation, it's disinformation.
Yeah.
And they are doing it because it's marketing ploy. They're utilizing FOMO. They're lying to you. And I can prove, I'll challenge anyone in chat because they say that this is the first laser engraved
Privy.
No, die. It's the first laser engraved die.
Challenges them. They're just going to say it's the first laser engraved ASE die.
So, well, but the thing is it's not the first laser engraved die. They're lying about it. And so it's facts matter, words matter, and they really matter to me. It's the same thing with this Engelhard thing that's going on right now, where they bought the rights to the name, but they label it on their site as a replica. However, nowhere do they indicate that it's a replica on the silver bars that are being manufactured or the new prospector that's being managed. It's manipulative. And you guys make up your own mind. Ultimately, it's up to you. However, I do need you guys to understand that words matter. And if you're a collector of Engelhards, and it's like, oh my God, Engelhard's putting out this new thing, this is amazing. It's actually not. Somebody just happened to buy the rights to produce things utilizing that name. BASF was the one who bought Engelhard back in 2006. They dissolved Engelhard. Sold their assets, got rid of them, and they still have the name because obviously Engelhard is an extremely collectible item. And these are reproductions. They are not genuine Engelhards. They need to be listed as such because it's deceptive practices. And when you have places like AppMex doing this, shame on AppMex. It's a marketing ploy. They have the legal right to do that. They're not doing anything illegal. It's important to understand. It's just manipulative practices. But the U.S. Mint doing it, freaking shame on them. That is a bald-faced lie. And no, I'm sorry. I've got to call it out. This is why when I told you guys that I reached out to one of the state representatives that I have dealt with quite frequently and said, hey, ma'am, we need to address this because it's a bald-faced lie and they're doing it to deceive the general public. And I would love to have a letter sent in indicating that they need to clarify this because the wording, let's say that they do use the wording that it's the first laser engraved ASC die. Well, that's great. So are they going to send a commemorative coin out every time? Oh, this is the new laser engraved cent. Oh, this is the new laser engraved penny. Or this is the new laser engraved quarter. Or this is the new laser. Once they do that, those things no longer become special. And so they sell them for exorbitant amount of prices. And then later on, who gets held with holding the load? that is no longer worth what you paid for it. The collector. They're screwing us.
Overload.
And so it's a lie, it's deceptive, and you guys deserve the truth.
Good morning,
And
Bill 457. Happy late birthday.
you guys make up your own mind, right? I'm not going to go on about this, but you guys make up your own mind. But it's important that you know the truth. I like the die, Paula.
I like the die too.
So nothing exciting.
So I'm going to pull up something. And Jack has been sitting here very quietly.
Oh, yeah. Talk about that.
So, yeah, Paula thought I was dead or something. Yeah.
Well, so I don't know if you know this, but do you happen to know somebody called Anderson Council? Does that name ring a bell to you, Jack?
No.
Okay, well, Anderson Council said, staying in a deck right now, so I just dropped in to say hi. Someone wake Jack up. I think he's asleep like when he's at work.
Yeah, I think I saw that comment. I think I responded.
That's hilarious. Hey, Dean R., good to see you. Thanks for coming in. And again, folks, if you're brand new and you like the discussion, again, we try to do the best that we can to provide you good information. Jack Young is a force in the anti-counterfeiting world when it comes to protecting our hobby. And he's going to share with us a really cool, interesting piece that he came across with a seller who just, I mean, basically their entire site was here. So the last 20, 30 minutes or so of this, this is going to be talking about this. So Jack, the floor is yours, brother. Take it away.
Okay, so I don't really search roles. I search selling venues, and I look for counterfeits like on eBay. And as Frosty said, this was a particular seller I was investigating the other day. He had 114 separate listings of counterfeit coins, predominantly US coins. And as I got scrolling through all of them, this one came up. And this one just was very interesting to me for a number of reasons. One, the so-called PCGS holder is very colorful and something I've never seen before. You look at the price, 1958. Well, that's pretty cheap for anything in a PCGS holder. There's a quantity discount and two available. That always kind of piques my interest when I see something like this. Bulk savings available. And then it has that typical, what I call Chinese patina look to it, the kind of grayish brown look to it. So, and then of course he had 114 bad listings. So what could possibly go wrong with this one, right? Let's go down to the next slide if we could. So I actually saved really good images of this one, and so there's the obverse and the reverse.
These are, and again, folks, he'll get to some details here, but this is very attractive. This will draw a lot of people, especially, and Paula was mentioning this at the very beginning. We have the Year of the Dragon. This will draw a lot of people in just because it's pretty, right? And again, shiny, right? We talk about the shiny thing, especially if you're in the South. You know, people wear fishing lures for earrings. This is one of those things that will draw people's attention, not because it's a PCGS slab, but just because it's pretty. Again, utilizing those things that people like against them. So keep that in mind as he goes through this.
Well, it's also unique. I mean, I've looked at a lot of PCGS holders. I've never seen a slab that looked like this. So very, very interesting. So this is actually the coin. And you can see it appears to have a good barcode. It's got a good cert. Now, obviously, one of the things I do when I'm looking at an example like this is I go into the PCGS website and I actually look and see what the cert shows me. So let's go down.
Sorry about that. I was writing a name down. Luther Blankenship got the second entry.
You're fine.
Nice.
So we actually go in and pull it up, and it doesn't look anything at all like what the coin for sale is. It's an entirely different year. It's an entirely different design. It's an entirely different coin, but it is in fact that same cert number. So, like I said, not even close. The description, the coin, there's absolutely nothing that compares to the genuine example. We'll go down to the next slide. And there's a good picture of the genuine example. So again, you know,
Not even the same coin.
Well,
not
no,
even close, you know. So 88384966, that is the certain number. That's what's on the counterfeit coin. But obviously not even close. Close but no cigar.
Eric just dropped 5 gifted memberships. Eric, thank you so much for doing this. Jack Gallman, Kim Campbell, OC Stacker, Lurch, and NH Greg. Please thank Eric for gifting you the membership. And Eric, as always, I appreciate you, brother.
You're welcome, Bill.
Okay, and then one of the other things that I use, I actually have an online barcode scanner. And that's always interesting to go in and actually scan the barcode and see what it says. And although it did read the last part correctly, the certain number, it had a bunch of stuff at the beginning of it that really was just nonsense. Typically in a PCGS cert number, there'll be a designation at the beginning of it that will be the coin type that PCGS records on their website, and there'll also be the grade. And this one doesn't match anything like that, but it does match the last part of the cert number. We'll go back down. And then the next thing I searched was I actually took that coin type to see what that was. And that's actually a pretty expensive pattern. You can see that that's actually the same design they copied, but $19 would have been a pretty good investment for what, a $350,000 coin. So I should have bought the 2 of them, of course.
So let's see something real quick. This was listed as AU58.
Right.
So it's still a $200,000 coin. You know, I mean,
Exactly.
You'll be okay. You'll be okay.
Yeah, no, that wouldn't have been bad. I should have bought the 2 and got the discount, right?
Yeah.
Got the discount.
Well, so what's important here, and this is really cool, and I know Jack's going to go about this more, and Jack knows I'm not trying to cut him off to jump in. But the one thing about looking at this is when you look at these, it's important to understand what their intent was, right? So their intent was to do this coin. But it's important to look at your items. And again, I don't have a barcode scanner. He does, so that's cool. You know, I don't have an XRF machine. Tiger Sacker does, so he can look at those things. I don't. But what we all have access to is to be able to pull up the certificate number and actually look to see if you can find the coin.
Yeah.
Look at the descriptions, or like the description here, and go, is this description even the same coin? And there might be some differences, but we all have access to this. So make sure when you're looking at slabs, and folks, I don't care if it's coming from somebody you know, always verify. If you're buying something from somebody, it doesn't matter if it's a coin shop, it doesn't matter if it's a coin dealer, it doesn't matter if it's a bulk dealer, it doesn't matter if it's online, validate and verify. Get into the habit of protecting yourself and your investment. It's just good practice. It's just good business. And so when you're doing this, yes, it's a hobby, but do the best you can. Caveat emptor, buyer beware. And I appreciate Jack, both Jack Young and Jack Riley, for digging into this. Now, there's a whole bunch of people. You guys mentioned Zach. I have no idea who that is. But we've been blessed to have a number of...
Yeah, he's a young guy. He's a young kid and super smart. And yeah.
Yeah,
So-
Zach is a really up and coming young numismatist. I mean, he's great.
Well, you're always welcome to invite him.
Oh, that
Yeah,
would
I
be
don't
fun.
know.
I think
Yeah.
that would be fun.
Invite
Yeah.
him. I'd be more than happy to have him on. Again, the people, and I say this not to be sarcastic, I 100% mean this. Women dating mentally challenged men, they're doing the Lord's work.
That's all I ever date.
Okay. No, why do I say it that way?
Well, on
Because we're bullheaded, we're stubborn, right? It's guys. However, Jack Riley, Jack Young, Zach, they're doing looking at counterfeits require a level of dedication that a lot of us don't either understand or have time for. And so to bring Jack up and talk about these things and actually go through this, there's a lot of effort that is being done that he's sharing with you freely. And you can't buy that kind of support. Live coin Q&A, they go up and they talk about stuff, and you can send coins in and they talk about things, and they share information, and Amanda doing the overlays and doing that kind of stuff. We couldn't afford some of the work that they do if it wasn't for the fact that these people don't do it just to help the community. And so make sure you guys are supporting these folks. Go check out these channels, subscribe to these folks. Go check out Harlan J. Burke. Just make sure Frosty sent you, it gets mentioned so that they understand. And Mike is here. They know that entire team is open anytime they want to come in to say hi and whatnot, trying to coordinate a special guest with him to come in and chit chat. We'll talk about some of those things. And again, I want this place to be a point to where people can come in and say, hey, I heard you guys talking about this. They're considered to be experts or really knowledgeable in the field. I heard you guys talking about this. I want to share and show you something. I want this group to be open enough to where people can just pop in and say, hey, let me show you what's new in here. Let me show you what's going on. Why is that? Well, because this is about protecting you. So Jack, again, I don't mean to interrupt you, but I really do appreciate what you do and the fact that you take time out of your Sunday to come support this. Paula, Eric, you guys know I love you guys. I'm always happy to have you here. But it's very important you guys understand the level of effort that goes into this work. So just another huge, huge thank you to Jack.
Thank you. And again, it's never an interruption. It's always just good clarification, and I appreciate that. It's not an issue at all. One of the notices that I had, though, that I talked about earlier, I actually wanted to buy one of these coins, and so I made an offer, and it got accepted. But he had 114 bad coins, and 110 of those got reported by someone we'll just not name. This one got reported. This one got reported in the group, and the entire group actually was successfully removed. So as a result, this listing was removed. The red bar says that eBay removed it for a policy violation, and my order actually got canceled. So I'm going to have to look for another one. This one is an opportunity that kind of escaped.
Well, you know how that works, Jack. Just
it was
wait
really
a few
bad
days
timing on my part.
Just wait a few days. Another store will probably pop up.
This is the first one I ever saw. I know. I mean, I've looked on eBay a lot, and I've never seen one like this. So
it may show up again.
No, Jack Riley said my timing was terrible, and he was right.
It was terrible.
I told him I was going to blame Jack Riley for doing this, and he's like, "No, it's not me. It's not me."
It was not his fault this time.
Yeah.
So that was a little piece that I had to share today.
I love that.
Awesome. Can I go a little off topic for a second?
Absolutely. Welcome to the panel.
Yeah, I know. Right? Yeah, here we go. I'm going sideways here. But when you were talking about APMEX, and I have some friends at APMEX, and I know a number of people there, and that's all good. But one of the things that people don't talk about is in their listings, and often in their eBay listings, they use a stock image of a coin to sell their coins. And one of the issues has come up where there is a fairly rare die variety of early large cent. It could be a colonial copper, it could be a half cent, and people bid on that, and that's not what they get.
Mm-hmm.
I actually wrote a little article about how to tell, because there's a place where you can do a couple checks on it, and you can actually go from the eBay page and go to their page. And how do you tell if it's actually just a stock image? Because you can buy what you think is a nice cherry pick and then end up getting something altogether different than what was shown in the image. And that's an issue. And again, I brought it up. Some of my friends in early copper brought it up.
Mm-hmm.
But it continues I don't want to say a practice, but you continue to see that.
Some sellers will actually annotate on their ad.
That's right. A good seller should.
Coin pictured is the coin you will receive, or
Right.
But they don't all, and they should make that a requirement. But
yeah, so this one can get a little tough. I had some friends that have bought some from them, and that's not the coin they got.
So, Jack, I have a question for you. Do they do that on coins where there is only one example, or do they do that on when they have multiple for sale?
No, I answered too quick, but yes, on a single example.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
Hmm.
So, and I've got a file and I've saved some and I talk to them on occasion. And again, it's normally on something like early copper, where the early copper guys know the varieties, and certain varieties are certainly worth more money. And you take a stock image of a rare variety of 1794 and then send you, a less than rare variety of 1794, that's a problem. And they can return it. It just doesn't seem like it's very clear on how they do that.
Yeah, that's tough, especially for those of us that are cherry pickers, and eBay is one of our sources. Like Jack Riley likes to go on there and find Morgan dollars and VAMs and counterfeits with VAMs and
Absolutely. He finds a number of the contemporary counterfeits. In fact, he got me into it. I'm
he looks specifically for the
Yeah.
dye markers and yeah, that's good advice though. Be very careful with that.
Yeah, and Jack and I talked about this when I was going over the GSAs, and I went to pull something out based off of something that Mike had told me the other day, and unfortunately I left it, and I never brought it home with me when I was doing my inventory, because I went through my stack and my collection yesterday to figure out how much money I can get towards that that hoard gold coin that I want to try to find. And I pulled out one of my Ikes, the brown Ikes, in that holder for the GSAs. And the utilization of stock images is often problematic. A lot of the places will list, that the coin pictured is the one you're going to receive, and that should be a requirement. Now, what I am curious about is we have the Hobby Protection Act. And the Hobby Protection Act requires certain things to be met. How do we hold people accountable for doing that? How do we hold these big companies? If the mint is manipulating us towards a very specific end, how do we hold these other companies accountable for stuff like this? And how do we use the legal aspect of that? Because again, some of this stuff definitely needs to be addressed. How do we do that?
I don't know. I'm answering Paul's question there. Sorry.
So what are your thoughts about that, Jack? Should there be something against utilization? If you're going to post something, it's got to be actual images of the coin. How would you mitigate some of that issue?
Well, it is a problem, and if you go into eBay, and unfortunately, I don't work there, so I don't have any clout there. But one of the things you have to sort through, and you and I've talked about it, and I think we've even discussed it in some of your lives. Some of the Chinese sellers are actually using stolen images of a genuine coin to sell counterfeits. And there are some telltale signs, but if you don't really dig into that, you might be fooled into believing that that's the coin that you're going to buy. You go into those and you will see where it says there's 10 available. That's a big clue. It's coming out of China. That's another big clue. And if you take the time, like I have on some occasions, you can actually go in and find the image of the genuine listing that they stole it from. But there's no real recourse to that other than just trying to report that that's, it's a counterfeit. And technically it's hard to for a lot of people to discern that because the image isn't a counterfeit. I actually bought one on purpose. I knew what I was going to get, and I got a counterfeit large cent that didn't match the description at all. And it was easy enough to get my money back. But there are other people that are going to get burned by stuff like that. And, you know, I don't know how you hold somebody accountable to that.
Kinemine, congratulations. Can I just address Paul's question real quick?
Certainly.
So Paul has a Kennedy $50 1995 with a 30-degree rotation, and it's very light. Very, very, very much under low weight tolerance. There is a 99.99999% chance that is a magician's coin.
That's right.
Die rotation and weight are two of your red flags right there.
Usually you can take a loop or a magnifier and see the seam.
You usually can. I would suggest if you have a small Tupperware container with a lid, throw it in that and just shake the crap out of it, and it will probably come apart. Yes, Luther, another thing is you can drop it onto a wooden surface and it will make like a thud sound. The sound is definitely different than a regular $50. So yeah, give those two things a try. Drop it onto a surface, a solid surface, and put it into a Tupperware container with a lid and just shake the crap out of it. Should be able to come apart. Yeah. And magician's coins are cool. Here's the good news. It's worth more than a $50.
That's right.
That's fact. Hey, Paul, I've got something to show you. My mom
It's not a
messaged
bad
me.
thing. People search for magician's coins all the time in coin rolls. So
I'm going to pull this up real quick and make myself big. This is on my phone. I'm going to be getting this here shortly. You guys see this?
I do.
My mom
Yeah.
found this.
There we go.
What do you see about it?
Blurry.
Is it? What does it say up there? Is it movie money?
Yeah, it's a
It's
copy.
movie money.
So there's a scam going on right now in certain areas where kids have taken $100 bills. They walk in front of somebody unsuspecting, drop the money, then they go into store, and then they actually report them as trying to pass off counterfeit money. It is all about basically trying to ruin people's lives, and they're actually there was an issue, and you guys know my mom lives up in Oregon.
cool.
There was an issue stated that you need to be very careful. There's actually been a number of retailers in the area that have talked about this, and of course, you know, you get retailers that don't look at it very closely, and they get caught with this kind of stuff. Now, a lot of people say, "Oh, well, you should. That's clear. You should do that." But folks, if you're in a bad place and you happen to find $100, you may just see the $100. That may just have made your day. It's kind of sad that people are doing this stuff. But I did talk to her. I'm gonna do a little bit of a discussion about it and remind people that, you know, hey, there are some people out there. I don't know if you guys have seen the Batman Returns movie, but there's a place where the butler's talking to him. It's like they're talking about the ruby. And he didn't steal the rubies because he wanted them. He wanted to steal the rubies just because he wanted to see the world burn. And there are some people out there that are just, they're not worried about making money. They're not worried about doing whatever. They're just there to make other people's lives hell. So when you see stuff like that, again, yeah, it's really cool, but it's pretty unfortunate. Now, obviously, she looked at it and she figured it out very quickly that that wasn't authentic. And she's going to send it to me. But just be careful, right? Be
Yeah,
careful
because
when
you
you're
can
out
buy
there.
that movie money.
Yeah, and there's a lot of people who do it. There's a lot of people who have access to it. You'll see tons and tons of shorts with people, have tens and $20,000 sitting around them, and they're pretending to be all OG gangsters, making it rain, doing stuff. It's all movie money. So again, be very careful being lured into that. But again, this stuff is out there, and it's just people that are being ignorant and rude. So
Before you quit, can I just say something real quick?
Absolutely.
Before it goes past. So Luther was bringing up possibilities on that $50. I'm a huge Occam's razor believer.
Yep.
I especially when it comes to coins, and life in general. But so Occam's razor, the simplest explanation is usually the correct one. So Luther, let's look at the possibilities you brought up, right? A rolled thin planchet, possibly. With a die rotation, probably not. Quarter stock, possibly. With a die rotation, probably not. Also, both of those would be pretty apparent just from the strike alone. You should be able to see that the strike is weak. 1995, not a real known date for a quarter stock. In fact, I don't think I've seen any. 70, yeah, if it was 1970, I would probably be like, okay, well, send me a picture. I'd like to see a picture of it. 95 is also a date that is highly used in magician's coins. So Kennedy on quarter planchets, Kennedy on quarter stock is weak. It is very weak. If you look, because they're thinner, and so quarter stock is thinner. So it would be a weaker strike. I mean, you can, if you look at 1970, Google 1970 Kennedy half struck on quarter stock. And you'll see that, especially around the date and stuff, is around the outside is weak. Around the outside. So yeah, it probably would have been nice to have seen a picture, but I'm just saying that also it probably has full reading. I could have asked, is it full reading? A Kennedy struck on quarter stock is going to have weaker reading. But if he wants to send a picture, Frostbite could probably put his email in the chat, and he could send pictures of it. But the odds are it being way under tolerance and having a die rotation. Those two things, you got to think about the simplest explanation. And magician's coins, considering those are two of the diagnostics for magician's coins, die rotation and really lightweight because it's hollowed out. That's probably the correct assumption.
So Luther, my email is in chat. You guys can always do ! email to pull that up. So you're more than welcome to.
It does seem like the new people find the coolest stuff. That is true. And normally everybody who knows me knows I am one who would be like, I'm not going to even try to answer you without seeing a picture of your coin. But in this case, the evidence draws me to a single conclusion. If that makes sense.
Well, Kim says that she enjoys the panel. Thank you so much for that. Today was a great day. I'm going to go ahead and pull one final winner. I'm going to give you guys, so periodically throughout this, and I'm going to be doing this throughout the month of September.
Sorry, Pedro.
You need to be in panel. Chad Brookman.
Yeah, I did the 99.9. I'm going to get going too, you guys. Have a blessed day.
See you, Paula.
For church.
Wonderful to see you, my friend. Thank you so much for coming in.
I had a lot of fun. I miss you guys terribly.
Hope to see you soon.
Yep. Listen, I am having more blessings than burdens. So we'll leave it at that. Everybody have a great day, you guys.
You do the same, Paula. Good
See you
to see
later.
You too, Jack.
All right, folks.
I'm getting ready to go to.
You have a great day, Jack. Thank you so much for sharing that. And folks, if you haven't went and checked out Fun with Fakes on Facebook, go check that out. If you need the link, I'll be posting the link in the description following the live stream. So make sure you go check that out. I'll be posting the links of the people that were on panel as well. So make sure you go check that out. Nana had asked a question about Variety Vista. I'll be posting that link in there as well. So if you guys want to do that. But Jack, as always, you're more than welcome every Sunday. I know it's your time off. I appreciate you coming in. Reach out to Zach and see if he's interested in coming up, and we can have another chit chat with him as well. And he bounced. Eric, thank you for the 5 members.
Always a pleasure.
I appreciate you doing that. Yeah, no problem, Nana. And again, folks, if you like this kind of stuff, we did this today because people had asked to watch some coin searches. So I appreciate Eric pulling up his scope and doing that. I have to buy a new scope. Mine has finally bit the bullet, so I need to get a new one. So I'll be looking at doing that over the short time. If you guys enjoy this, please make sure you're putting stuff in chat, letting me know that you want to do it. If you have a specific topic, document it. Send me an email. Let me know that you have a topic. I hope you guys are doing well. I'm going to do one more dime challenge. I'm doing this periodically through chat. The only way you have to enter is just to enter something into chat. Whoops, it might help if I spelled winner right. That looks like wiener. And I'll be submitting these. So the people who got dimes that are going, Luther Blankenship, outstanding, congratulations. So the people who are getting dimes sent to Everyday Copportunity for a chance to win on the dime challenge, Jack Gallman, Luther Blankenship, freaking awesome. Kin of mine actually won too, because when I did the one, it came up my name. And then Matt T. Coins. So those were the people. And then Chad Brookman, you got the poker chip and the stickers. So Chad, if you will send me an email, if you already have a poker chip and stickers, then let me know and I'll coordinate something else for you in place. But congratulations to all the winners. And again, folks, I'm not going to tell you when I do this. Okay? I don't want you here for giveaways. I want you here to learn information. So this is something that I do when I want to. It's not something I may do it every week. I may not. But regardless, if you hear and you're participating, then I wanted to try and do something nice for you. So congratulations to all the winners. Chad, again, send me an email. The rest of you, no worries, because I'm just sending your names to Everyday Copportunity along with the dimes. All right, folks. Well, hey, I hope you enjoy your Sunday. Get out there, hug your loved ones, let your kids know that you love them if you have them. Go do something nice for somebody. Go buy a cup of coffee for a random person. And remember, if you get something, it only takes a little bit to change a person's day. All right, folks. Well, be well, be blessed, take care of yourselves, and we will see you in the streams.